Jack Miller floated through the narrow corridor of the rescue craft Mercy's hand. His magnetic boots clicked against the metal floor as he reached the cockpit. Outside the large front window, Jupiter's moon Europa gleamed like a pearl against the black of space. The Earth Space Rescue Service base, his home for the past 3 years, was a collection of domes and towers on the icy surface below. "Status report?" Jack asked, sliding into the pilot's seat. Lisa Green looked up from her medical station. Her blonde hair was pulled back in a tight bun, and dark circles showed under her eyes from the double shift she had just worked. "Medical. Supplies fully stocked. 2 emergency surgery kits ready. 10 units of universal blood substitute cooled and stable," she said. Alan Harris, the ship's engineer, spoke without looking up from his console. "Engines at full capacity. Life support optimal. New shield generator is online but untested in field conditions." Jack nodded. The Mercy's Hand was the newest model of rescue craft in the fleet. Fast, well-equipped, and designed to reach people in trouble anywhere in the solar system. Jack had been a rescue pilot for 12 years now. He had pulled miners from collapsed tunnels on Mars, saved families from failing habitat domes on Titan, and once even rescued a team of scientists from a research station falling into Venus's atmosphere. "Team, we have a situation," said the voice of mission control through the ship's speakers. "Research vessel Northern Star is reporting life support failure near Saturn. They have 22 crew members and estimate only 48 hours of breathable air remaining." Jack checked the navigation system. "That's at the edge of our range. You're the only rescue craft close enough to reach them in time." "Mission," Control replied. "Understood. Plotting fastest course now." Jack's fingers moved quickly over the controls. Alan stood up and checked his tool belt. "I'll prepare the repair kits. Sounds like we'll need to fix their life support on site. I'll set up the emergency medical bay," Lisa added, already moving toward the back of the ship. Jack felt the familiar surge of adrenaline that came with each mission. This was why he had joined the rescue service, to save lives when no one else could. "Mercy's Hand, you are cleared for immediate departure." "Good luck." Jack engaged the engines. The rescue craft lifted smoothly from the docking bay and accelerated away from Europa. As they cleared Jupiter's massive gravity well, he pushed the engines to maximum. The stars outside began to blur slightly as the craft approached 1/10 the speed of light. "ETA to Northern Star is 14 hours, Jack announced over the ship's internal comm system. Everyone prepped for extended rescue operations. None of them noticed the small dark object that briefly emerged from behind one of Saturn's smaller moons, observed their trajectory, and then disappeared again. 6 hours into their journey, Jack sat in the pilot's seat reviewing the Northern Star's schematics. He needed to know the layout of the research vessel before they arrived. Lisa entered the cockpit with 2 steaming cups. "Coffee," she said, handing him one. "Real coffee, not the synthetic stuff." Jack took the cup gratefully. "You've been saving this for a special occasion?" 22 lives is special enough," she replied, sitting in the co-pilot seat. "You think Alan can fix their life support?" Jack asked after taking a sip. Lisa nodded. "He's the best engineer in the service. If anyone can, it's him." The ship's alert system suddenly blared to life. A proximity warning flashed on the main screen. "What the hell?" Jack placed his coffee in the holder and checked the sensors. "There's nothing on long-range scans." The ship shuddered. Something had just scanned them with an energy beam of unknown origin. "Alan," Jack called over the comm. "Are you seeing this?" "Yeah." Alan's voice was tense. "That's not any kind of scan I recognize. Not human tech for sure." Jack's heart pounded in his chest. In all his years in space, he had never encountered confirmed alien technology. There had been rumors, of course. Strange signals detected at the edge of the solar system. Unusual energy readings near Pluto, but nothing concrete. "All hands prepare for possible emergency maneuvers," Jack ordered, switching the ship to combat. Alert status. Not that a rescue craft had much in the way of defenses. They had minimal shields designed for protection against space debris, not weapons. The view screen suddenly showed a ship materializing less than a kilometer away. It was sleek, dark, and shaped like an arrowhead. Nothing in the human fleet looked remotely like it. My God, Lisa whispered. Is that alien? Jack confirmed, already attempting to open a communication channel. Unknown vessel, this is Earth Space Rescue Service craft Mercy's Hand. We are on a humanitarian mission to save lives. We come in peace. Only silence answered him. Unknown vessel, we are unarmed. We are a medical ship. Jack repeated the message, adding the universal distress frequency to the broadcast. The alien ship moved closer. Jack could now see strange markings along its hull, symbols that resembled no human language. They're scanning us again, Alan reported from engineering. More focused this time. They're looking at our engine configuration, weapons systems. Wait, we don't have weapon systems. They might not know that, Jack said. He activated the ship's external lights, illuminating the large red cross painted on their hull, the ancient and universal symbol for medical services. The alien ship abruptly changed position. Something on its front end began to glow. Evasive. Maneuvers, Jack shouted, but it was too late. A beam of intense blue light shot from the alien craft, striking the Mercy's Hand directly on its port side. The rescue ship spun wildly as emergency alarms screamed throughout the vessel. Damage report, Jack yelled, fighting with the controls to stabilize their rotation. No answer came from engineering. Alan, Lisa. Jack tried again, finally managing to stop the ship's spin. The main power flickered, then stabilized at emergency levels. Jack. Lisa's voice came weakly over the comm. I'm in the medical bay. We've been breached. Alan's hurt bad. I'm coming, Jack said, setting the autopilot to maintain position. He pushed away from his seat and floated quickly through the damaged ship. The artificial gravity was offline. The scene in the medical bay made his blood run cold. A piece of metal had pierced the wall where the alien weapon had hit. Alan was floating near the ceiling, a large shard embedded in his side. Lisa was trying to reach him, her own arm bleeding from a deep cut. Help me get him down, she gasped. Together they carefully moved Alan to a treatment bed. Lisa attached emergency medical monitors to his chest while Jack activated the bed's restraining field to hold Alan in place despite the lack of gravity. The communications array is destroyed, Jack said, checking the ship's status from a nearby terminal. Main engines offline. Life support damaged, but functioning on backups. Why? Lisa asked, her voice breaking as she worked to stabilize Alan. We're a rescue ship. We're clearly marked. Jack had no answer. He moved to another console and activated the emergency beacon, their only hope of alerting Earth to what had happened. Outside the viewport, the alien ship watched them for several minutes more. Then, as suddenly as it had appeared, it vanished, leaving the damaged rescue craft drifting helplessly in the void. Jack looked at his injured crewmates and the crippled ship. His jaw tightened as he made a silent promise. Earth would know what happened here today. The emergency beacon of the Mercy's Hand pulsed silently in the darkness of space. Its signal traveled at the speed of light, racing toward Earth with news no human had ever sent before. Inside the damaged rescue craft, Jack worked frantically to repair what he could. The air was getting colder by the hour as the life support system struggled to maintain temperature. His breath formed small clouds in front of his face. Lisa emerged from the medical bay, her face drawn with exhaustion. How's Alan? Jack asked, not looking up from the tangle of wires he was trying to reconnect. Stable for now, Lisa said. The med bed is keeping him alive, but he needs a proper hospital. How's the distress signal? Transmitting, Jack said. But with the main communications array destroyed, we can't tell if anyone's receiving it. Lisa floated closer, examining the damage to the cockpit. Do you think they'll come back? The aliens? Jack paused his work. I don't know. I don't understand why they attacked in the first place. He gestured to the large red cross emblazoned on their hull, visible through the cockpit window. This symbol has meant "don't shoot" for centuries. Maybe they don't understand our symbols, Lisa suggested. They understood enough to target our engines and weapon systems with their first shot, Jack replied grimly. That wasn't random. They knew exactly what they were doing. Lisa shivered, and not just from the cold. What about the Northern Star, the research vessel we were going to rescue? Jack's expression darkened. We can't reach them now. We can only hope another rescue craft gets dispatched when we fail to report in. The ship creaked around them as the hull adjusted to the temperature changes. 20 hours had passed since the attack, and with each passing hour their chances of survival diminished. At Earth Space Command headquarters in Denver, Commander Susan Martinez was in the middle of reviewing mission reports when her assistant burst into the office. "Commander, you need to see this," he said, placing a datapad in front of her. Susan looked at the screen and felt her blood run cold. The partial distress signal from the Mercy's hand played, broken and distorted. Jack Miller's voice came through. "In fragments. Attacked by unknown vessel, not human design. Direct hit. Crew injured. Medical rescue ship. Unprovoked. Need immediate." The signal ended abruptly. "When did we receive this?" Susan asked, already rising from her desk. 17 minutes ago. The signal took hours to reach us from their location near Saturn." Susan's mind raced. She had authorized countless rescue missions, but never had one of her ships reported an attack by non-human forces. "Call an emergency meeting of the Defense Council," she ordered. "Priority Alpha, and get me everything we have on the Mercy's hand's last known coordinates." 30 minutes later, Susan stood before the United Earth Defense Council, a group of 12 men and women responsible for humanity's safety. Among them was Vice Admiral Peter Johnson, head of the Space Navy, and Karen White from the Diplomatic Corps. "The signal is genuine," Susan concluded after presenting the evidence. "The Mercy's hand was attacked by a vessel of unknown origin while on a rescue mission. Are we certain it's not pirates or terrorists using unfamiliar ship designs?" asked Karen, her face concerned. "Our long-range sensors picked up energy signatures unlike anything in our database," Susan replied. "The technology is not human." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Vice Admiral Johnson spoke first. "We've suspected the existence of other spacefaring species for decades. Now we have confirmation, and their first action was to attack an unarmed rescue vessel. We should attempt communication before assuming hostility," Karen argued. "This could be a misunderstanding. The Mercy's hand was clearly marked with universal medical symbols," Susan countered. "It carried no significant weaponry. There's no misunderstanding that could justify this attack." The council members looked at one another, the weight of the moment heavy on their shoulders. This was humanity's first confirmed contact with an alien species, and it had begun with violence against those on a mission of mercy. "What are our options?" asked the council chairperson. Vice Admiral Johnson stepped forward. "It's time to deploy the Deep Space Fleet." Murmurs filled the room. The existence of Earth's advanced military fleet was known to few. Built in secret, over the past decade following anonymous warnings about potential threats from beyond the solar system, the fleet represented humanity's insurance policy. "The Retribution and its battle group can reach Saturn's orbit in 36 hours using the new drive systems," Johnson continued. "We have the capability to rescue our people and send a clear message." "And what message would that be?" Karen asked. Johnson's face was stone. "That attacking human rescue craft is unacceptable. That there are consequences." The council voted unanimously. Earth would respond. Back on the Mercy's hand, Jack had managed to restore partial power to the life support system. The temperature was still dangerously low, but they weren't in immediate danger of freezing. Lisa sat beside Alan's medbed, monitoring his vital signs. The engineer remained unconscious, the medical system working to repair his damaged organs. "Jack," she called out suddenly. "Look at this." Jack pushed himself across the room in the zero gravity. "What is it?" Lisa pointed to a section of Alan's blood work on the medical display. "There's some kind of foreign particle in his bloodstream. It's not from the injury." Jack leaned closer. "What do you mean?" "When the alien beam hit us, it released something into the ship's atmosphere. We all breathed it in, but the med bed detected it and filtered most of it from Alan's system during treatment." Jack felt a chill that had nothing to do with the failing temperature controls. "Are we being poisoned?" Lisa studied the readouts. "I don't think so." This looks more like a marker of some kind. Like they tagged us. Why would they do that? Before Lisa could answer, the ship's proximity alarm blared again. Jack's heart raced as he pushed himself quickly back to the cockpit. Through the viewport, he could see multiple lights approaching. "Please don't be more aliens," he whispered. The lights grew closer, resolving into ships. Human ships, but unlike any Jack had ever seen before. Their sleek designs and unusual engine configurations marked them as far more advanced than any publicly known vessels. The largest of the ships moved alongside the damaged Mercy's Hand. Its hull bore the insignia of Earth's Space Navy, but the Yao ship itself was a revelation. A voice came through the rescue craft's emergency channel. "Rescue vessel Mercy's Hand. This is Lieutenant Eric Patterson of the Earth vessel Retribution. We're here to bring you home." Jack's voice shook as he replied. "Lieutenant, you have no idea how glad we are to see you. We received your distress call," Patterson responded. "A medical team is preparing to board. Please stand by." Jack turned to Lisa, who had floated into the cockpit behind him. Tears of relief were forming in her eyes. "Earth sent help," she whispered. "And quite a lot of it," Jack added, looking at the impressive fleet now surrounding their small craft. "I've never seen ships like these before." "They must have been keeping them secret," Lisa said. Jack nodded slowly, understanding dawning on his face. "They weren't just coming to rescue us. Look at those ships, Lisa. That's not just a rescue. It's mission." Outside, more vessels moved into formation. Their weapon systems were unlike anything Jack had ever seen on human ships. Earth's answer to the attack was arriving, and it was far more powerful than anyone could have imagined. The medical team from the Retribution moved quickly through the Mercy's Hand. 4 people in sleek spacesuits carefully transferred Alan to a stretcher designed for zero-gravity transport. Their movements were precise and practiced. "He's been stable for the last 6 hours, Lisa explained to the lead medic, a woman whose name tag read Dr. Powell. "But the internal bleeding started again about an hour ago." "We'll take good care of him," Dr. Powell assured her, checking Alan's vitals on a handheld device more advanced than anything Lisa had seen before. Meanwhile, in the cockpit, Jack spoke with Lieutenant Patterson, who had boarded the rescue craft along with the medical team. "You'll need to come with us," Patterson said. "This ship can't be saved." Jack looked around at the vessel that had been his home for the past 3 years. "What about our mission?" "There's a research ship in trouble near Saturn. The Northern Star has already been rescued by another vessel," Patterson replied. "Your distress signal prompted a full-scale response." Jack nodded, relieved. Then he noticed something through the viewport. Several smaller ships from the Earth fleet had surrounded the Mercy's Hand and appeared to be scanning it thoroughly. "What are they doing?" Jack asked. Patterson's expression was unreadable. "Gathering evidence. We need to know exactly what kind of weapons were used against you." Jack was about to ask more questions when Lisa entered the cockpit. "They're taking Alan to their medical bay," she said. "They say he'll make it." "Good news," Jack replied. Then turned back to Patterson. "Lieutenant, where did these ships come from? I've been in the rescue service for 12 years and never seen anything like them." Patterson hesitated before answering. "That's classified information, but given the circumstances, you deserve some explanation. Let's get you both aboard the Retribution first." 20 minutes later, Jack and Lisa sat in a conference room aboard the massive ship. The Retribution was easily 5 times larger than the largest public military vessel Jack had ever seen. Through a viewport, they watched as their damaged rescue craft was carefully taken into one of the carrier's enormous hangar bays. The door slid open, and a tall man with gray hair and the insignia of an admiral entered the room. Jack and Lisa immediately stood up. "At ease," said Admiral Frank Garcia. "Please sit down. You've been through enough today." They sat back down, and the admiral took a seat across from them. "First, let me assure you that your crewmate is receiving the best medical care available. Our doctors expect a full recovery." Garcia's voice was deep and reassuring. "Now I understand you have questions?" "Yes, sir," Jack said, "starting with who attacked us and why." Garcia nodded. "Based on our analysis, your attacker was a scout ship from a species we call the Vraxians. We've been aware of their presence at the edges of our solar system for some time. You knew there were aliens and didn't tell anyone? Lisa asked, unable to hide her surprise. A necessary precaution, Garcia replied. 20 years ago, we detected signals that indicated intelligent life was observing us. Rather than cause potential panic, world leaders decided to prepare quietly. Jack gestured to the ship around them. By building all this. Yes. The Earth Defense Fleet has been constructed in secret facilities throughout the asteroid belt. The Retribution is our flagship, but we have 27 other vessels of various classes. But why would these Vraxians attack a rescue ship? Lisa asked. Garcia's expression darkened. Our intelligence suggests they were testing us, probing for a response. They likely targeted a rescue craft because they assumed it would be defenseless and its loss might not trigger a significant military reaction. They were wrong, Jack said quietly, looking out at the impressive fleet surrounding them. Very wrong, Garcia agreed. Which brings me to why I wanted to speak with you directly. We've detected unusual particles in your bloodstream, similar to a tracking compound. Lisa nodded. I found traces in Alan's blood as well. Our scientists believe the Vraxians tagged you to monitor Earth's response capabilities. They wanted to see how quickly we would react, what kind of ships we would send. Jack leaned forward. So they're watching us right now? Almost certainly, Garcia said. And what they're seeing is that humanity responds with overwhelming force when our people are threatened, especially those on humanitarian missions. Young officer entered the room and whispered something to the admiral, who nodded grimly. It seems the Vraxians are making their next move, Garcia said, standing up. We've detected 7 vessels heading toward Saturn. Based on their energy, signatures, their warships. What will you do? Lisa asked. Defend our solar system, Garcia replied simply, and send a clear message about the consequences of attacking human rescue craft. In another part of the Retribution, Dr. Olivia Moore studied the holographic display, showing the approaching Vraxian vessels. As Earth's foremost expert on theoretical alien psychology, she had been brought aboard to provide insights on potential Vraxian behavior. They're moving exactly as predicted, she told the tactical officers gathered around the display. Confidence bordering on arrogance, they believe their technology is superior to ours. Is it? Asked one of the officers. Based on the attack? On the Mercy's hand, no, Olivia replied. Their weapons are powerful but not beyond our defensive capabilities. What's interesting is their approach formation. She pointed to the way the Vraxian ships were arranged. They're positioning their vessels to maximize sensor coverage while maintaining defensive positions. These aren't just warriors, they're methodical. So they're cautious, another officer noted. Cautious, yes, but still expecting to find primitive technology, Olivia explained. They likely view the attack on the rescue craft as a minor incident, like scientists studying ants might crush one to see how the colony responds. Admiral Garcia entered the tactical room. Dr. Moore, your assessment? They're coming to establish dominance, not to negotiate, she said firmly. In their culture, strength must be demonstrated before diplomacy can begin. Garcia nodded. Then, we'll speak their language. He turned to his officers. Deploy the fleet as planned. Use Saturn's rings for cover. I want most of our ships hidden until the right moment. And the Mercy's hand survivors? Olivia asked. They've provided us with valuable information about Vraxian weapons signatures, Garcia said. With their help, we've already adjusted our shields to better absorb their energy weapons. On the main bridge of the Retribution, Jack and Lisa stood by invitation of the Admiral. They watched as Earth's secret fleet moved into position around Saturn's majestic rings. I still can't believe all this was built in secret, Lisa whispered. Jack nodded. Makes you wonder what else we don't know. The tactical display showed the approaching Vraxian vessels, now just hours away. The Earth fleet had positioned most of its ships behind Saturn's rings with only 3 vessels visible, including a medical ship deliberately placed in a vulnerable position. They're using us as bait, Jack realized, understanding the strategy. They're counting on the Vraxians, targeting another medical vessel. And when they do, Garcia said from behind them, They'll learn that humanity protects its healers with everything we have. The bridge fell silent as they waited for the coming confrontation. Jack's hands tightened on the railing in front of him. The Vraxians were about to discover just how savage Earth's answer could be. The 7 Vraxian warships slowed as they approached Saturn's orbit. Their sleek, dark hulls reflected little light, making them appear as shadows against the gas giant's colorful backdrop. Commander Zextral stood on the bridge of the lead vessel, observing the human ships on the main view screen. Only 3 vessels detected, reported his sensor officer. 1 large military ship and 2 smaller craft. One appears to be a medical vessel similar to the one we tested earlier. Zextral's mouth parts clicked in what passed for amusement among his species. They sent a rescue party with minimal protection. Just as predicted, the human military vessel is larger than our intelligence suggested humans were capable of building, noted his second-in-command. Size does not equal advancement, Zextral replied dismissively. Scan their weapons systems. After a moment, the sensor officer reported, basic energy weapons, primitive shielding, nothing our vessels cannot handle. Zextral studied the human ships thoughtfully. The Vraxian Confederation had been observing Earth for decades, watching as humans took their first tentative steps into space. The species had shown remarkable progress for their age, but nothing that suggested they could pose a threat to the Vraxian expansion plans. The medical vessel would make another excellent test subject, Zextral suggested. Let us see how quickly they abandon their weak when truly threatened. Targeting the medical vessel, his weapons officer confirmed. Aboard the Retribution, Admiral Garcia watched the Vraxian ships on the tactical display. They were moving exactly as Dr. Moore had predicted. They're scanning us, reported a sensor officer. But our countermeasures are working. They can only detect the 3 ships we want them to see. Garcia nodded with satisfaction. 24 advanced Earth vessels remained hidden behind Saturn's rings, their new stealth systems making them invisible to Vraxian sensors. Sir, they're powering weapons, the tactical officer announced. They appear to be targeting our medical ship. Just as we expected, Garcia said calmly. Shields at maximum. Let them fire first. We need clear evidence of hostile intent. The bridge, Jack and Lisa watched tensely as the drama unfolded. Will the medical ship's shields hold? Lisa asked, concerned for the crew aboard. Trust me, Garcia assured her. They'll be fine. A blue beam of energy shot from the lead Vraxian ship, striking the Earth medical vessel. But instead of causing damage, the energy seemed to ripple across the ship's hull before dissipating completely. Shields holding at 92%, reported the tactical officer. The Vraxians appear confused by our defensive capabilities. Garcia allowed himself a small smile. Now they know we've learned from their attack on you. Signal the fleet. Execute Operation Swift Answer. Commander Zextral stared in disbelief as the human medical ship absorbed their weapons fire with minimal effect. Impossible, he hissed. Their technology should not be this advanced. Commander, his sensor officer called out, voice rising with alarm. New contacts appearing, many new contacts. The view screen changed to show dozens of human vessels emerging from behind Saturn's rings. They moved with precision and coordination that Zextral had not believed humans capable of. A trap, Zextral realized too late. Battle formation. All weapons ready. But before his fleet could reorganize, the human vessels had surrounded them in a complex 3-dimensional formation that allowed no easy escape route. All ships in position, Admiral, reported the Retribution's tactical officer. Open a channel to the Vraxian command ship, Garcia ordered. When the communication link was established, Garcia spoke clearly and firmly. Vraxian vessels, this is Admiral Frank Garcia of the Earth Defense Fleet. You have committed an act of war by attacking our rescue craft and now our medical vessel. Power down your weapons immediately. The screen flickered, revealing a creature with an insect-like face, multiple eyes and chitinous plates covering its head. When it spoke, the ship's computer translated. This is Commander Zextral of the Vraxian Confederation. Your species is young and operates in space that will soon be under our protection. Stand down and prepare for integration into the Confederation. Garcia's face remained impassive. We have no interest in your Confederation, Commander. You attacked an unarmed ship on a mission of mercy. Where I come from, targeting medical vessels is considered among the gravest of war crimes. We merely tested your capabilities, Zexatral replied. A standard procedure when encountering developing species. Then consider this our response to your test, Garcia said coldly. Target their weapon systems only. Disable, don't destroy. Earth ships moved with coordinated precision. Beams of intense white energy lanced out from multiple vessels simultaneously, striking the Vraxian ships at exact points where their weapon systems were located. Zextral's bridge erupted in alarm signals as system after system went offline. How is this possible? He demanded. Their targeting is impossibly precise. On the Retribution, Jack watched in amazement as the Earth fleet systematically disabled the Vraxian vessels without destroying them. The information you provided about their weapon signatures helped us map their entire ship design, Admiral Garcia explained. We know exactly where to hit them to disable rather than destroy. You're showing restraint, Lisa observed. Garcia nodded. We're not killers. We're defenders. There's a difference. One of the Vraxian ships, perhaps panicking, broke formation and fired upon the medical transport carrying the rescued crew from the Northern Star. Garcia's expression hardened. That ship gets no second chance, he said quietly. Neutralize it. 3. Earth vessels converged on the offending Vraxian ship. Their combined fire penetrated its hull in critical areas. The ship's lights flickered and died as its power core shut down. 5 Vraxian ships disabled, 1 neutralized, and the command ship contained, reported the tactical officer. Excellent, Garcia said. Prepare boarding parties. I want Commander Zextral brought here. An hour later, the Vraxian commander stood on the bridge of the Retribution, surrounded by armed guards. Despite his alien features, his shock was obvious as he looked around at Earth's technology. This is not possible, Zexatral said. Our intelligence indicated you were at least 50 years away from achieving this level of advancement. Your intelligence was wrong, Garcia replied simply. We've been preparing for this day since we first detected your signals 20 years ago. You knew of us? Now the alien seemed truly disturbed. We did. And rather than announce our discovery to the public, we quietly built this fleet. You mistook our silence for ignorance, our restraint for weakness. Dr. Moore stepped forward. Commander Zextral, your people value strength above all else. But you should understand that humanity's greatest strength isn't our weapons or ships. What, then? The alien asked. Jack spoke up from where he stood. It's that we'll cross the entire solar system to save lives. And we'll fight even harder to protect those who save others. Zexatral's eyes moved between the humans. You disabled 6 ships and destroyed only 1. The one that fired on your medical vessel. Why such restraint when you clearly could have destroyed us all? Because that's not who we are, Garcia said. But make no mistake, Commander, if you had destroyed that rescue craft completely, if all its crew had died while trying to save others, Earth's answer would have been far more savage than what you witnessed today. The Vraxian commander was silent for a long moment before speaking again. I believe I have gravely misunderstood humanity. A common mistake, Garcia replied. One I suggest your people don't make twice.